one of the reasons that I think Oswald was involved in a Cuban plot to assassinate JFK is that we have official United States government documents which say that Oswald went to Cuba, and yet the official story says he did not go to Cuba. So the implication here is that there's another Oswald story that we haven't been told about, that the U.S. government or certain people in the U.S. government knew about. That is, that Oswald was involved in Cuba in some way. Now, this is from a November 22nd, 1963 memo created by J. Edgar Hoover at 4:01 p.m., the afternoon of the assassination. And he says that he told the Attorney General, that is Robert Kennedy, the brother of John Kennedy, that Oswald went to Cuba on several occasions, but would not tell us what he went to Cuba for. I don't see why J. Edgar Hoover would write this in a memo if it wasn't true. I don't see why he'd want to document lying to Robert Kennedy, the Attorney General. So I think this must be true, at least so far as Hoover knows, and that Oswald did go to Cuba on several occasions, and the FBI knew about it, and that Oswald wouldn't tell the FBI why he went there. And we also have this Army Intelligence Corps spot report, which credits the information to Assistant Chief Don Stringfellow, Intelligence Section, Dallas Police Department, saying that information obtained from Oswald is that he defected to Cuba in 1959. Of course, you could argue in isolation that this is a mistake, that he actually defected to the Soviet Union in 1959, as the official story says he did. But if you consider, with the document from Hoover I just covered, I think this is further evidence that Oswald was involved with Cuba, that he had gone to Cuba. Maybe he did defect to Cuba in 1959. There's, of course, the possibility that there are two people using the identity of Oswald. I don't want to get into that here. But this is another government document which says that Oswald went to Cuba. And this is another document from the Department of the Army, which I believe references that document, where it says, Assistant Chief Don Stringfellow, Intelligence Section, Dallas Police Department, notified 112th Intelligence Group, this headquarters, that information obtained from Oswald revealed he had defected to Cuba in 1959. So I don't think this document is in error. I think there were two Oswald stories going on, and that one of them, anyway, had Oswald going to Cuba several times, even defecting to Cuba. And I think this information from Stringfellow probably represents, or probably indicates, that there were two different people being referred to as Oswald who were actually in custody. And Stringfellow knows about one of them. Stringfellow is in a different location. He's at the Fair Park location rather than the downtown police station. So probably one of the Oswalds was brought to Fair Park and interrogated there, and that's where this information comes from. So we have official government documents, United States government documents, which say that Oswald went to Cuba, even though the official story is that Oswald never went to Cuba.